Hello all, this is once again Gabriel Banerjee. As I'm a professional of learning and development for the last 14 and a half years. I have catered to various organizations, worked with various organizations, currently working with something called on the behavioral front, basically on the psychological front, and talks about lot many things in life. Today I'm going to talk about something which is not related to any functional expertise or any behavioral expertise. This is something about what I have believed in with my experience, and I'm going to speak about it. It's called the 3 rings of perceived value. Now let's take an example before I tell you what exactly these words mean. Now let me give an example. Now let's say you're taking a picture of mine, right? So how would you ask me to stand? One, it looks the better. So what are you thinking? You're thinking that in what posture or what gesture will I look better? So that means you're not looking at the picture. What you're looking at is the value of the picture. For example, let's say we go into a marriage, we go into a friend's place for a party, we do various occasions in our lifestyle. Now whenever we do take pictures, how do we take pictures? We try to analyze, okay, this is the situation that is looking good, or this is the situation that is not looking good, or who would look good in what sort of dress. We try to first analyze and then get into the nitty-gritty. So that means you're trying to create a perceived value of mine in that photograph. So when that photograph gets published or being shown to others, everybody would first say, wow, what a photograph. Second, who took it? That's where perceived value comes into the effect. Why? Because it's you as an individual who's looking through that camera is creating that perception about me, where should I look good, which means you're not looking at who am I, you're not looking at what I have, but you're looking at what value am I generating in that photograph wearing that dress. That's all about what we talk about 3 rings of perceived value. Initially in my early years of my career, when I have worked with various organizations, I've always thought about a lot of people coming for an interview, and when they give interviews or when they study for various engineering colleges or MBA, when they give any interviews, how do they think of giving an interview? Please try and understand. Again, it's a metaphor, so there is nothing to be thinking that this is an actual example. Please understand, when you go for an interview, what do you think? You ask yourself rather of I giving you the answer. First, how can I get the best out of it? That means the interviewer is looking through his or her eyes, which is actually the camera that he or she has, through which the projected value of yours is being perceived. That's why I call it the 3 rings of perceived value. So what are those 3 rings that constitutes your perceived value towards others? Your behavior towards others, your action towards others, your attitude towards others, because these are the 3 rings which will create as an individualistic perception towards others, and that's where I'm going to talk about the 3 rings of perceived value. Now before we start, let us go by the definition. Now let me ask you a question with these 3 rings that I have. First, what do you understand by the word want? Take a few seconds, ask yourself, what do you understand by the word need? And what do you understand by the word value? Take a few minutes of yourself, think about your own life, and just bifurcate your entire life into these 3 columns: the want, the need, and the value. Yes, want means what you desire. Need is without which you cannot live. And value is when your need versus wants have a fight, and when you choose anyone over the other, that's where the value comes in. Example, you're thirsty. It's a very hot, humid day. You're thirsty. You're looking for a shop which sells water. You're not able to get it. Now at that point of time, it's a need for you. It's not a desire, because without that water, if not drunk in that probable time, there might be a problem. So, but after certain time, let's say around 10 minutes or max 15 minutes, what you observe is you don't bother paying 25 rupees for a Bisleri bottle, which means your need becomes so strong that the value of your want actually took the precedence, that you went ahead and bought a bottle worth of 25. But actually, how much a Bisleri cost in today's market? I mean, the 500 PET bottle, 5 rupees, 10 rupees. But because the value of quenching your thirst got so high that you did not talk about your need, you saw what you want. You wanted to quench your thirst, not by what water. It was the water that created it. So the value precedes the want over the need. This is what is called the three rings of perceived value. Let me give another example. Let me talk about educational side. Again, a question to all of you. Do you need an MBA? Do you want an MBA? What's the answer? Or do you need a degree? Do you want a degree? Where is the value? Getting an MBA or need of the MBA is a value, or the want of an MBA is a value? You have to decide on your own, because when you look at that need factor, it's because you need a job to help sustain that need. The value once again takes the precedence, so you want an MBA. That's why all these three rings are intersected. They're all together. No one happens in isolation. I need a car. I want a Mercedes. The value takes the precedence. I can't buy a Mercedes right now. Maybe 10 years down the line, I'll be able to buy a Mercedes. In the same context, all the organizations that they're working today, they look at the same aspect. How many of you know that today Mercedes-Benz has come up with a car called the A-Class, which is ranging between 20 to 30 lakhs? At least in my lifetime, I've never seen an automobile company which is one of the pioneer in sedan and luxury cars can come down to their value. Audi A4, 30 lakhs and above. What it means is they're trying to match the want and the need with the value in the intersection. So today, they are not looking at what is the need or what is the want. What is my convenience value? How do I get that convenience? One of the other examples, I stay in Bombay and I travel from Navi Mumbai to town quite often for various workshops and programs. Typically, I take a time out in the morning to reach that place. Now, preferably in the initial days, I used to book a normal black and yellow taxi. Today, I book a Meru cab. The difference. Because now I want convenience. My need is still a car. But the want has changed. The want is convenience, and there I'm willing to sacrifice the value of it because I'm paying more. But I'm purchasing the convenience. AC buses in Mumbai, 5 years, 7 years probably back, how many number of buses used to commute in all directions? I knew only two routes from Navi Mumbai. One was from L&T Infotech MIDC to Worli, Cheknaka. That's about it. And there was one bus from Kalamboli to Wadala, and that too the best buses. Today we have NMMC come up with 3 more routes. Why? Again the same factor. We want to travel well. We want convenience. Our need is still transport, but we want. So today, in a typical lifestyle of us, what we are looking into, we are trying to take a precedence of our value system, and thus creating a niche for what we want in life. So the need will always exist, because without need, no human being would perish. No human being would exist. So please understand. Now, when I say the 3 rings of perceived value, with a common note is definition says, what do I want? Why do I want? What do I need? Why do I need? How do I generate my value? Now, let's take a very common example. I mean, a very few finer details example. Let's say I want a good job, or I need a good job. Now, if I want a good job, what's my value to that company? If I need a good job, what's the value in that company? So ultimately, what it boils down to is your perceived value. So when you carry your resume or your career snapshot with you, when you go to a company and when you start giving an interview or you appear for your semester exams, what you look at is that value of that exam, not what you want from that exam. One of the finest example of need versus want, I can take an example from the movie 3 Idiots. It clearly demarcates what I need and what I want. Because moment you will be concentrating on want, your need is going to be sacrificed so as the value of that need and the value of that want. So, in a given context, what do organizations look for? Do they look for what they want or do they look for what they need? Honestly, they look for both. Need is the initial creator of that position in the company, and want is I want to hire an X person of this caliber. The ability, the attitude. What happens in a nutshell is when I look at all these aspects of life, what is the difference between the need and the want, and transforming its potential perceived value is how do other person looks me for the profile. Let's take an open example. 2013 campus recruitments, a lot of companies would be coming, they'll be hiring a lot of people. Now, have you ever thought, what do they look into a candidate? How do they look into a candidate? Do they look into the candidate for the need of the job, or do they look into the candidate for the want of the job? Or what is your perceived value to the corporate? What is the medium of that perceived value to the corporate? One, your mark sheet, definitely. If you stand apart from the rest of the crowd, that means your perceived value is already created in the minds of that interviewer. So the interviewer will think from a point, okay, I'm going to hire one of the topmost candidate from this college. Let me put my questions through. That's how the need changes to want. So the need will always exist because whenever a campus happens, the need arises, and because the need arises, it always takes care of the precedence of what do I want, because the need is the subset of want. It's a desire, and thus creating the value to others. Again, relating it to the first example I took about that photograph. If I would have been shabbily dressed, would you have taken my photograph? If I would have worn a kind of very shabbily dressed clothes in an interview, would you take my interview? If I go to a wedding without even cutting my hair or clean shave, one fine more example is, would you go to a date without shaving and taking out your hair? It's a very common thing, and it's what value do you generate. It is important, but the most important part is how do people perceive you in that situation. Let me go ahead with an example with another one. The management that it uses in three aspects. I'll be talking about life in the later part, but first we'll talk about customer service. My dear friends, we all are in customer service. Though the forms are very different, but we serve each another. The moment I go to one of the faculty members to ask something, we get something. So when you serve something as a product, as a service, as an institutional organization, we have those things called as customer service. A small hint of what is customer service: anything that we serve to a customer. So if you, when you're joining V School, you are a customer of the V School because you will promote the brand image of V School, thus creating the perceived value of V School. Example, if everybody gets into the top segment of the campus recruitment provided with all the amenities, then the companies create a perceived value saying, wow, V School gives us good candidates. So that's the difference of need and want. That's what we call as customer service. Once you go and work in a company and you become an alumni of V School and you start delivering a lot of things as good conceptual candidature to this V School, then V School creates a perceived value of you that yes, what I created came back to us in a much, much better way, thus creating the need and the want in a balancing way. On the other thing, we talk about performance. Performance doesn't hold any value in terms of whether it is for corporate, whether it is for education, whether it's for institutional, whether it's for business, whether it's for your kids, for your family members. I term performance in a very different way, and I'm going to talk about it in various ways what we can deal with, and then I'm going to talk about something in life. Now, I'm going to start in a reverse order, so I'll start with the life first, and just to let you know, can you ask a question to yourself? In your friend circle, what's your worth? In your family, what's your worth? In your institution where you go, in the summer intern project that you do, in the vicinity that you visit, what is your worth? Now, please don't misunderstand this worth with monetary terms, as in how much do I guess you understand what I'm trying to say. So when I say worth, please understand it's beyond a certain point when you look into. One is what is you as an individual can deliver. Number two, how good your attitude is in certain conditions or situations. And number three, your skills and abilities that you develop over a period of time. That's what demarks you from a different. Let me give an example. 1989, 16 September. How many of you recall this date? Wow, let me tell you. Exactly right. It's a day when Sachin Tendulkar was debuted in the international arena. And the first ball he faced, blown his nose out. He started bleeding. The other batsman walked up to him and said, "Hey kid, why don't you go back to your dressing room, clean up your nose and come back?" You know the answer that he gave? He said, "No, I'm here to play. I want to play. I need to play." Thus, creating the perceived value in that mind that this kid is going to rule the international arena for a longer period of time. It's very important how do people perceive you in this value system. If people value me as a good individual, good human being, I do have capability to deliver, I do have knowledge to deliver, wow, you can walk into a Hall of Fame with all sort of nitty-gritties. But if the perception says, no, this guy is kind of okay, you know, we have to put much of a stress. Similarly, the organizations thinks in the same way. When you're going for an interview, how quick this guy can learn will reflect what life you lead. And thus, getting to our next one, which talks about customer service, which means how do customers think, be it from a standpoint, be it from an organizational standpoint, be it from an educational standpoint, be it from a life standpoint. So let us take a look. This three rings of perceived value has a very significance in this life. First look. Okay. Now, if you look at a look, that we have three circles. Basic circle is the basic product or service. The second circle we talk about is the support, and there is something called as end service. Let me ask you another question. When you go to buy a shirt, what is the first thing that you cater to? Or when you go to a restaurant, what is the first thing that you look in that restaurant? Or when you go to a admission of a B school, what is the first thing that you look into? You're absolutely right. For the first instance, you will take care of the color of the shirt which matches you, which fits you, which gives you a wonderful value, worth that you're wearing a wonderful color shirt. Number two, you look at the hygiene factor of the restaurant, what extra they are offering. And when you go to a B school, the first thing you look is what is the brand name and the placements that they have done. So you're not looking at the core product. You're looking at what is the benevolent benefits that organization, that institute, life is going to offer me. Because without that benefits, whatever you do, nothing is going to achieve, whether it's a need or a want. Why? Again, it's a perceived value. Classic example. I walked into one of the ballrooms because I was doing training out there in Taj, and in the Gateway of India. And the ballroom is superb with a beautiful lighting system. So next time I started walking there, what seems to me as a wow effect changed immediately to these are expected. Second example, you joined V school. For the first 2 semesters, you were a rank holder. All of the faculties will start behaving and believing that you are a rank holder, so it will become by natural, which in turn creates, it's a normal expectation. Just think about this, my dear friends. Whenever Sachin goes out to bat, what do you all expect? Do we expect that he should play well? Do we expect that Rahul Dravid should support him? Or do we expect that he needs to make centuries in all the matches? Now, friends, is it possible? I know the answer you're discussing now is no. But don't we expect that? So what it means is we forget about what is the need, what is the support, what is the want. What we wait is the value. So I am graduated from, I live in, these things are always taking precedence, and that's how the customer service. Today, if you walk into any of the retail showrooms in any place in Mumbai, you will typically find that the first thing that you look is the ambience, not what product is all about. The second, now once your ambience beneficial value is created, then you will look at what stores are there. What it terms means is, what is the support system? If you cannot find anything in that particular mall, are there anybody to help you out? Support system. If you go to some place and you don't have cash or your debit card is not working, I hope it works, I mean, not in that sense, but if your debit card is not working, is there anybody to help you out to show you where is the ATM? And then finally, you actually go to the shop to shop the particular item. Let's say one of the items are shoe, Nike shoe. You just wear it, you feel it good or nice, and then you go on with it without even creating any repercussions in your mind as to the value. Once you go out of that particular shop and when you meet a friend the next day, you say, wow, I bought this shoe. Can you please tell me where did I buy it from? So you're not talking about what you're talking about is the enhanced service. You go to a restaurant, you order food. The first thing that you ask the waiter that what is the quality of the food that is being served? Because you know that restaurant itself has its own brand image. Example, Taj. Example, you walk into any CCD cafe, you walk into any McDonald's outlet, you walk into any KFC outlets, you walk into any good. Another fine example for all people who stay in Mumbai, Bade Mian. I mean, 1-2 words, Bade Mian, will significantly let you know what is the value that Bade Mian has created, and it has gone spread across in Mumbai. You ask any person who knows about it, he will say, yeah, I know, and what a lovely food they offer. They talk about what is the core product, they talk about in what value, what are you getting, and that's why everyone, be it an educational institution, be it an organization, be it your life, we always starts from enhanced service, moving to the support system of it, and then actually looking at what the core product is. When you buy a house, you don't look at what the house offers, you look at which locality. That's creating itself. So for example, if that is the case, tomorrow I know I'll be buying a home in Lokhandwala, it will become an expectation for me because yes, Lokhandwala is a good place, or Hiranandani gives me good values. Hiranandani gives good homes. It's expected. If they don't, then there is a fall in the service pattern. With this note, we now get into the next segment of this 3 rings of perceived value called performance. Now, once again, a question to all of you. What do you understand by performance? And if performance is kept as a word where there are 3 arms of a triangle, so what will be the base, what will be the left arm, and what will be the right arm? Let us have a word in that. And when we talk about performance, the 3 things that caters to is your attitude, which is the base of it. Always remember that attitude defines altitude. Then you must have knowledge. So attitude plus knowledge is equal to your skills. That's the reason I've kept skills in a bigger size. For the simple fact is, it is the skills that will define efficiency of Sachin Tendulkar and Gautam Gambhir or Birendra Sehwag. Because all of these 3 do have the attitude, do have the knowledge, but how many of them do actually implement will create the difference in individuals. Now, before we go ahead of discussing what is attitude, what is skills, and what is knowledge, let us just focus on the word, skill. I hope you all know how to drive a car. I mean, if not, you will soon learn how to drive a car. Now, typically there are sections that you learn to drive a car with a friend, or you go to a driving school. Now, can anybody remind me make me a reminder, or can remember how many days are actually required to learn that? So always remember, 20% of your actual learning are implemented in that school, because because your brain sends you a signal that you don't need to be afraid of an accident, because there is always someone behind your side who will help you the moment there is a dangerous situation. That's why you only learn 20% of what's being taught to you. be it making it slow in front of a bumper, be it how to take a turn, be how to negotiate the curves and the small bylanes of Mumbai. Those are what you learn, because you typically don't learn driving in that bylanes. And in organization, the moment you join, you have to go through the bylanes. That's where your attitude will make a key difference, because skill is nothing but attitude into knowledge plus implementation is equal to skill. Let me repeat it. Attitude into knowledge plus skill. This is what is all about. Now, to understand what is a skill, let us take a rewind and think what is all about attitude. Well, this is not a prescriptive format. This is what I have understood over a period of time. Definitely we will able to understand, and whatever I'm trying to say it right now, it talks about certain psychological theories. The first word to a human being's life is called the core word, which is known as conditioning. You are conditioned by three things in life: the environment that you were born, the education that you got it from there, and the experience. When I say environment, it means that a person born in Lokhandwala and a person born in Dharavi would have very different value system. So a person, I'll give you a classic example. Once again, I do not know whether you recall these dates or not. 16th of November 2011, a baby girl was born in Seven Hills Hospital in Marol. Very nearby place, Andheri Municipal Hospital, there was another baby girl born around 15-20 minutes difference. When I studied these two girls' environment, okay, by the way, one is Aradhya Bachchan, the famous granddaughter of Amitabh Bachchan, and the other one is of a corporate professional who holds very high rank in one of the organizations. I have met him, I have spoken with him, and I have understood what kind of understandings they have. So please understand, once we look at this, the two environments are very different. Environment 1, Aradhya Bachchan, 24 hours servant, all-time AC, business class, photo shoots, brand name, everything, top shots. On the other side, the same, which is the need, becomes the want of other individual, and that's how the value system changes. So, in a nutshell, the core conditioning will create your core values. So how you are conditioned in that system, how you are brought in that system, how you are given knowledge in that system will create your value system. Just a question to all of you, and if you can answer this question to all of you, no issues. You walk out of the V school, the main gate, and you stand with your friends. Nobody is around there. It's almost, let's say, 9:30 in the night, and you see there are 4 1,000 rupee notes lying on the ground. Once again, 4 1,000 rupee notes lying on the ground. What would you do? Now, chances are, or the probable answers can be, either somebody would say, I'll pick it up, put it in my pocket. Somebody would say, I'll pick it up, give it to the security. Somebody would say, I'll not pick it up, I'll leave it as it is. Somebody would say, I'll pick it up, I'll donate something to somebody, and then I'll keep the rest with me. So there will be n number of answers. Now, my second question is to those people who will say, I will not pick it up, or I will not do it anything, or I'll give it to the security. The next day, something very important has happened, and if you don't have that 4,000 rupees, then something very bad is going to happen with you. What would you do? Would you still pick it up? Please understand, I'm not trying to segregate as a bad value system or a good value system. It's just relative theory. What you do creates your perceived value in that particular situation. If you pick it up, that's your value system, it's fine. If you don't pick it up, don't just judge just because somebody has picked that 4,000 rupees, which means he is bad. Because that perceived value creates a lot of tension. That core value would give you an answer. And one final question with this core value is, would you take a bullet if you have to uphold your core values? Would you take a bullet, or would you die If somebody says that I need to uphold my value system, I am honest and I would die for an honesty, whatever answer you give does not change any scenarios, because that's your value system. Everybody has a trigger level to click on. Everybody has a trigger to break down. We need to find that trigger level. That core value would define your attitude in all situations. How you look, how you behave, how you react, how you respond, how you communicate, everything is going to happen in that. And that's why that 3 rings: need, want, value. This is typically called as your subconscious. Oh, I beg your pardon, this is called as unconscious. This is your subconscious and this is your conscious. What it means is we can definitely see the feelings, the emotions and the behavior part. And that is how we judge somebody's perceived value, as in what kind of attitude that he or she carries. We say somebody, he's very arrogant. We say somebody, he's very casual. We say somebody, he's very adamantly. What you say is by looking at this, but you're targeting this. So this attitude will impact your feelings. There are some people who reacts immediately. There are some people who reacts positively. There are some people who reacts negatively, and there are some people who does not react. That is how we'll demonstrate it as a behavior. This entire process, starting from this conditioning to the demonstrating of the behavior level, is called your thoughts. That is how thoughts are generated. That is how your thought of life happens. That is how you look at a specific thing and you create a perception of that thing. Again, perceived value. Because it teaches you how to extract value. Let me give an example. There are 10 laptops standing in front of you. Out of the 10 laptops, only 2 has a brand name on it. One has a Dell and one has a VAIO written on it. Trust me, my dear friends, you will never even bother to look at the other 8 laptops. The first 2 laptops that you go is the VAIO and the other one, the Dell. Why? Because this 2 brand has created a perceived value in your eyes. We give you good service, we give you good product. But what you're looking at first is the perceived value. Now, once the thoughts are generated, these thoughts will actually create your belief system. What you believe in, how do you believe in, what are the things that you believe in. Once you believe in something, this will give you the strength to fight, to work, to study, to face a situation. Once you get the strength, that strength now will determine your action. That action would be transformed into results. Results can be either positive or negative. If the results are positive or negative, that will reinforce your belief. Let me give you an example. You bought a laptop from, let's say, Flora Fountain. They are giving good discount. Your friend told you, don't buy it from there. They're not good to buy things from. And after 7 days, the laptop crashes. What's the first thing that comes in your mind? I'm not going to give the answer. You're a better judge of that answer. And that's what I say. Your thoughts, belief will give you strength. Strength will determine your actions. Actions will be transformed to results. And the results, whether positive or negative, would be reinforcing your belief system. And that is how we all are. That is how we all behave in a situation. That is how we all look into a situation. Hence, we all want to say that the 3 rings of perceived value make a good impact in your life. Because when you look at all these things, it talks about a basic composition of how can I behave, of this need versus want and my value. Because if the need and the want of my value doesn't work, you will never be able to get satisfied results. Because at the end of the day, the initial preferences is what is your perceived value towards others, how you are perceived by others in a given situation. And that's all for today. It was really nice speaking in front of you. I hope it creates wonderful value to you. Thank you. Have a great day.